But they have all these different ideas, ritualized. And so they were very shamanistic in that stuff. So that's why there's different things.
You said there's a lot of like moral codes and stuff and different
Yeah.
vows. I was wondering what are some of them, and also like on what are they based? Like you said, like stuff about like sexual conduct, like from what does that take?
Well, like I mentioned, there's the three, what we call three yanas, or three vehicles. So the first being moral discipline. The first thing we have to do is understand the relationship between our actions and what happens based on our actions. So you may know that term as karma. Karma is not exactly that. But whenever we do something, it causes an effect. And so the moral discipline is we have all of these vows to then realize if we act this way, this is generally the result of that. But we're not supposed to take anything on faith. So we take the vow in order to go into a laboratory and test that to see if that's true. If it is true, then we apply it. If it's not true, we throw it out and go, that's not true. That's how we approach Buddhism. So if we take like the precepts, this is no killing. If we say, well, there's nothing morally wrong with killing, I can kill anybody or anything that I want, when we begin to look at the effect that that has on us, on that immediate person or that person's immediate family, and socially, we begin to see a massive ripple effect of what those negative actions do. And so for each one of our moral vows, they are to discipline us, to train us, to not be the cause of suffering or the problem for others in this world. That's our main goal, is to stop being the cause of other people's problems. Sexual misconduct certainly does that. It screws up our life, it screws up the other person's life, and the whole social network.
What is that? What do you mean by sexual misconduct?
Sexual misconduct is if you're not in a proper relationship like marriage, you shouldn't be doing it. And even within the marriage, you should be respectful to your partner. You can't just do whatever you want because you have a partner. You don't own that person. Outside of marriage, you shouldn't be engaged in that. Because to do so, you're robbing that person of their physical sanctity and that energy, because you don't have the blessing to create that kind of spiritual or physical bond. And when you do that, you see what happens when relationships fall apart. You get very intimate with somebody, and then when that relationship ends, it's disastrous. It causes a lot of problems. So that's how sexual misconduct would work is with that. And we can see it. We see what happens with, all of the pregnancy out of wedlock. We see the impact on that in our nation. We have people at your age having kids without the proper support to even do that. They don't even have their education on how to do that, let alone the financial and all the other support for it. It's really problematic. All the diseases that happen, all of the things that come with it, even the corruptness that comes with prostitution and all the other things because of addiction. That all comes from sexual misconduct, arises out of that. So the Buddha says, these kinds of things are terrible for society. So be careful how you act with that. Same thing if we're drunk. We kill people in cars, we create fights, we create crime, we create all of these things because we're under the sway of some kind of narcotic or alcohol. It's improper behavior. So this is what the vows are put in place for. You have a question?
You got about under 10 minutes.
Ooh, okay.
So it seems like sort of avoiding things because they hurt other people is one way to look at morality. But I think it's interesting. Is there anything in Buddhism that says don't just avoid doing things because they have bad effects, but actively sort of do good things?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.